champ. You are the best. Thank you, Alex. He said you're muted. I was like, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. So I had my OBS connected to the wrong one. Thank you, champ. No. I appreciate you, Alex. You're the champ. I really do. You're the man. So listen, I fucked this up completely. Uh, no. Champ. He said I had to take a few leaks. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean. All right. So let me just start this all over. What's going on, everybody? Mario Mugia here, Infight and FX, Infight and Exchange, and we have a great show for you today, and I am listening to y'all. All right, y'all have been DMing me, you've been messaging me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and saying the format is too fucked up. You come on for the weekend recap, and it's like 4 hours, and it's just like crazy shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to tonight break down or separate the wrestling portion of the show from the boxing MMA. So tonight, right now, we're doing boxing MMA in fighting FX. Okay, this is the weekend recap, only boxing and MMA. And then we're going to do wrestling, and I'll come back for that and do a whole different show because Raw is live tonight at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. That means it is live within an hour. And those of you that are in my community know that I cover Raw and SmackDown for FightsATW.com. That's FightsAroundTheWorld.com. Make that your one-stop shop for all your combat sports news and information. And so we're going to cover that Raw live. And a lot of really big stuff happening on there. Obafemi and Braun Breaker are supposed to have their contract signing now. That will be for a Sunday night's main event that will take place a week from this Sunday. But this Sunday is All In, AEW's biggest show of the year, their version of WrestleMania. And I wonder, will WWE attempt to steal the media cycle, right? The news cycle on their on AEW's biggest week of the year, right? I wonder because if you go back to WrestleMania weekend, which is obviously WWE's biggest wrestling card of the year. I mean, it's wrestling's biggest, card of the year. And if you go back to WWE WrestleMania this year, AEW had uh their homegrown guy win the world title, Darby Allin. It was a controversial moment that split fans on both sides of the stuff, right? And so they used Darby to steal the news cycle, right? And it was effective. Not to say that it was good or bad, to say that it was controversial enough that people began talking about it on the week that wrestling is probably talked about the most, right? So if you assume that Super Bowl week, the week before the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl, those 2 weeks, right? Because they're off and then they play the Super Bowl. If you assume that those 2 weeks are the most Googled and reference time in football, right, for the year, then you have to assume that that's the same thing for WrestleMania, right? More people are Googling wrestling in general at that time, right? And so if they can steal the headlines and have people post, oh, look at Darby, look at what he did. I don't know if it really does anything. I'm not saying AEW affected the ratings or anything like that, but it certainly is, kind of like feathering your cap to be able to do that, I'd assume. WWE could do that tonight. They absolutely could do that tonight. They could come on and they could do something big. And Alex says, how would they steal it? How about the fucking Vision get off their we used to be the future and now we're basically the fucking superstars faction, as in the faction that belongs on the show Superstars that nobody watches. Send them over to Speed. Send them over to what's the other one that they're doing? Wait, where the fuck is this coming from? Oh, okay. That was like way behind. Okay, so yeah, they could do it like that. That could be a way. But we're gonna talk about it. Shout out to Machine Gun Matt in the building, champ. Okay, so real quick, I just want to show you all this. I know y'all are like, what the fuck is this random lady on? This is Annie Jacobson. Okay, she wrote a book called Area 51. If you watch Joe Rogan or have been a fan of Joe Rogan in the past, you might she'll look familiar to you. She wrote a book called Area 51, and obviously Joe Rogan assumed that. And by the way, we all assumed it was gonna be like something about aliens in it. It had very little stuff about aliens. It was more about Area 51 as a military place, and like it's like so much secrecy, so much like crazy covert stuff that happens there, right? For example, in the book, she interviews a guy who said that she asked him like, "Hey, were there aliens? Did you ever see anything about aliens?" What actually happened to this guy when he first got brought on is they brought him through, and to fuck with his mind to see how loyal he would be, they brought in fake aliens, like dummies. They were like little dummies in a bag, right? And they did it just to see basically like what he would do. Like, would he run and scream and tell his wife? Like, would he call the news station, right? For those of you like that know who Bob Lazar is, like that's a real thing that's happened, right? So anyway, that whole thing happened, and that's who she is. So check this story out. All right. This is something that very few people I think you're even aware of. And this is nuts. Absolutely nuts. I'm going to let y'all listen, and then I'm going to talk about it.
Of the strategic national stockpile is classified.
Okay.
So I the
Oh, this
strategic
this
national
clip
stockpile.
this clip it starts in weird. So she's talking about the strategic national stockpile. This is of weapons and other things that if America were to go under tomorrow and there was like no more world, like how much oil do we have on supply? How much toilet paper do we have on supply? How much, beef or whatever? And obviously like things that are housed in this aren't beef and food, but it could be like, canned stuff. It's just basically like our stockpile of shit that we need. How many years can America sustain itself without any help from the globe because of a disaster or whatever? And so that's what she's talking about. A place in America that is a top secret um, location that no one should know of at all unless you are in that aspect of the government.
File is classified.
Okay.
So I had ChatGPT tell me where it was.
What? So it was able to just scrub the internet?
You know, if you just try to make it do that, it will say no, you can't know where that is. It's classified. But I have a little bit more nomenclature in me, and I know sort of some keywords to use, and I really pushed ChatGPT hard and found the actual location in Los Angeles. I told some colleagues
Mhm.
who are friends with Sam Altman.
Yeah.
So he asked to speak with me
Whoa.
about this. And we had a discussion. And one of the questions he asked me was, how do you know that that's the right location?
And what'd you say?
Well, I told him that it's a location with a big perimeter fence around it, but more importantly, it has a rail track that goes in and doesn't come out. That's how you bring the supplies in.
Whoa.
And the reason that ChatGPT was able to locate it was because a government official by accident on page, like, I can't remember, it was like 434 of some document.
Put it on some .gov website?
No, like in an emergency earthquake,
Okay, so this is what if you didn't understand what she was saying, this is what she's saying. And also, Alex, I did see that. I have not read anything, I haven't seen anything, but my first initial thought is, did New Rock Stars do this on purpose, or did they leak it on purpose? Um, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not, because they got the Netflix. Here's the thing: if you don't know about the Netflix doc that's coming out, or it's like that special look, right? Then I don't know. You're probably not a fan, but that thing's coming out, and I cannot wait. And so it wouldn't make sense for them to leak something only to have some like official project come out, right? That you want people tapped into. But all I know is I cannot wait for that GTA thing on Netflix to come out. But here's what Annie Jacobson's saying. She's basically saying she negged fucking Chat GPT to the point where it just fucking did anything she wanted. Right? She said that this place is like top secret, right? The stockpile. And because she has some of the nomenclature that insiders use when discussing these sort of things, right? Because it's like when it comes to like this kind of stuff, there's like multi-pronged um components, right? This is proportioned out because the scale of things is too big, right? Like you think about what how they did the Manhattan Project, right? And how Oppenheimer was able to, basically build a whole, or not him, but how the government was able to build an entire city, an entire fucking infrastructure. They had movies, they had bowling alleys, they had schools, hospital. This is a town that they just fucking popped up out of nowhere in the desert, all for the sake of national security, okay? And so the idea that you can push ChatGPT to a point where it will try to do the job no matter what. Because if you ask it, hey, I want to know the top 5 secret locations for where we have nuclear weapons, obviously it's not going to give it to you. But if you have the ability to like use words like, where does the football come from that the president has access to? So I don't know if you know, this is like the nuclear stuff that the president has to like launch stuff. It comes in 2 forms. So it's like a briefcase. I think they call it the football. And then there's like something else that is handcuffed to somebody at all times. So it's like the code and then whatever else they need. So it's like if you could neg ChatGPT into basically giving you fucking anything that's out there or ever been out there, because again, she's saying that the only reason that she got this is because somebody accidentally put it out there years ago and they did it in this like disaster relief thing for an earthquake. And so like I don't know. This is very nuanced. I get it. It doesn't seem like a huge deal maybe, but it really 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 is. Right? Like if you could somehow convince it or find a way around giving it sensitive information, then you don't need a bunch of people in the country in a cell looking to do bad every day. All you need is somebody who is in front of a computer, and you could get logistics like that. But I just, it was crazy because everybody's been telling me that I talk shit to my AI and that's not the way to get things done. Bullshit. She just said exactly what I've been saying, and that is you have to fucking talk shit to it. You have to be like, hey, you're not good enough, or oh wow, my bad, I thought you were advanced. Or then like, or you know what, gaslight it. Like do things like this, be like oh my bad, this was probably way too much to ask from you. Obviously you're still in your infancy phase and you're not capable of doing things. Or be like, ha ha ha, this was really bad, this attempt you made was terrible. I think it's funny how every time I hear about AI on the news, people are so scared and terrified. When really you're fucking terrible at all this, dude. I swear to God, it fucking is like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking do this. I don't give a shit. It's like I'm gonna use all the copyright shit, and I don't even care. And that's how you get AI to do all the shit you want. I don't believe her. She's one of those doomsday shock scientists. I saw her on a Diary of a CEO with that CIA guy Bustamante. Here's why you should believe her. Because she talked to Sam Altman. This is a registered thing that happened that Sam Altman and his team took action against. So this is a very true story with several accounts that back it up. Because here's the thing. I get what you're saying, the doomsday shock scientist aspect of it all, but you got to understand that Annie Jacobson is a journalist, right? She is a storyteller at the root. So obviously she's got to say things that make you want to buy the book, right? Obviously she's got to do and say things that are like, oh my God, now I got to read this, right? But this is a serious person, champ, like a very serious person. This person is connected fully to the intelligence agencies in Israel, America, Canada, fucking Germany. I mean, this is like one of the most legit people, right? And you can tell that why. How's one of the reasons you could tell that? Because she goes on both left and right shows. The idea that anyone that would just go on a right wing show, that probably seems like it's because they are full of shit. And when tested, their ideas don't hold up. Same thing with the leftists. Why don't they go on right shows? Because they don't have the ability to really like sometimes back up their shit, right? So I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's like saying, what can I use it as like an example? Like she stakes her whole credit on this, right? This is like Triple H saying Obafemi and Braun Breaker are going to have a contract signed tonight. Everybody show up. We're going to get it. And then they're both like not in the building, right? Like, and then they don't even give us a reason or anything. It's like that they wouldn't do that. It's more damage to their shit than it isn't. But anyway, I am absolutely now ready to talk about the thing that we have to talk about, and it is unfortunate I think. Wait, where the fuck is this one? Sorry, guys. I don't know how I did this. I'm gonna say it's this one. Sure. At the end of the day, we're gotta start about 15 or about 45 minutes until Raw starts. Speaking of that, El Said is going on Jesse Waters tonight. I gotta see that. Wow. I did not know he was going on Jesse Waters. Jesus, that's gonna be crazy. And it's funny. Like, there's so many people on the right that would actually be good at like these debates and stuff. But the problem is that they don't concede everything that you have to today. Like, oh, let me show you all this, real quick before we get into the stuff. There was this dude. There's these two candidates that are running. So, like, a lot of y'all know like the crazy woke stuff, left stuff, right? And y'all have talked about that for years. So, like, a lot of that stuff has died down, right? We're in a different era now, 2026, and it's more of like, oh, the propaganda, I can see it now. So as we're getting out of it, right, left and right both like point at things that are crazy that the other side says or thinks, right? Look at this one, dude. This is the best. So I don't know if y'all know this, and I know that y'all think that I'm always making fun of people on the right and the left, but at the end of the day, come on, this is crazy shit. Like, this is hilarious. And if you don't know this, the very, very far right, there's an idea that dinosaurs aren't real, that they never walked the earth, that they're made up, that they're a liberal propaganda. And then there are also people on the right who who can't go that far to say dinosaurs never existed, but they do say dinosaurs and men walk the earth together, right? And this is like deep state crazy shit. But look, this is hilarious, dude. This is so funny. This is like expert level trolling. I'm sorry. This is exactly how the Republicans won and MAGA won the first time, by just pointing out the crazy dumb shit that you say for political
Dinosaurs and
gain.
men did not walk the earth at the same time, right?
Were you there?
I wasn't there,
I
but that's
wasn't
what,
either.
no,
I
but that's
don't
what the
know.
Were you
science said.
there?
The Pritzker team keeps hammering away, sending people dressed in dinosaur costumes to the state fair. They say it's a reference to curriculum at Bailey School.
I'll simply ask him, was he there,
Yo,
number
he
one,
said
because I think every
dinosaurs.
day we're
He
learning
said
wonderful
people in
things
dinosaur outfits.
about history in the past. But first and foremost,
Well,
he's
but
going to
dinosaurs
use
and men were.
well,
I
he's
mean,
going to use his 65 million to distort the
but
truth.
dinosaurs and men did not walk the earth at the same time, right?
Were you there?
Yo, I'm sorry. That clip is fucking crazy, bro. It is so crazy. Okay, real quick, I just want to this is what Alex said. Oh, you know what? We'll do this at the end because I don't have time. I'm gonna have to do this at the end. Sorry, Alex. We will talk about it. I swear to God, because I obviously we're waiting. By the way, guess who just pre-ordered? Jaboy, $100. Boom, like that. Special editions coming out. I think we're gonna do something like special, right? So for those of you that don't follow me, cough cough, Bryce, Bryce Mitchell. I'm not gonna talk about this today. For those of you that haven't been following me online or on Twitch, I get it. I've been doing like mostly like kid type stuff, right? But that's because the only person I've been able to stream with was my niece. She's the only person that's been willing to come over and sit down, get some clips and have fun. So obviously we play Roblox because she loves playing Roblox. And she loves playing like the little girly games on Roblox. So I get it. But just so y'all know, for the bros, bro, we doing it big for GTA 6. I might just do a whole fucking week. Like, maybe not a whole week, but maybe I might just do a whole weekend. Like, I might just go live starting like Friday at midnight and then just do the whole fucking week. Literally the whole weekend. Not like be live the whole time. And then I'll have like people drop in, come through. You know what I'm saying? Adam, Ryan, Mackenzie, maybe get Dario over to Sophia, my goddaughter, and her boyfriend. Maybe just get like everybody to come through like at different times. But we're gonna do it big for GTA 6. I promise y'all we're gonna do it. So make sure you go to Twitch, follow me there. But let us talk about this situation. It is sad, ladies and gentlemen. It is sad. Mario, no, you fed the machine. My bad, bro. My bad. All right. So listen, no, I don't want to fucking subscribe to your get your bullshit. So, this has been a story that's been going out just a little bit ago, and we are ready to talk about it. Um, Let me just send the link out real quick to anybody that wants to jump on for this topic. All right. Jump on. Mm, 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 mm. All right. Okay, so if you did not hear, this story has been going nuts. This past weekend, God damn it. Okay. If you did not hear, this story's been going crazy for the last 24 hours or so. Tank Davis has posted something that fans are very, very upset about. Very upset about. Okay. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into the whole thing. I'll explain it from my side. But let's first just read this complex article. Hopefully, it'll give us everything we need. Whatever it doesn't give us, I will provide you further context. So it says Gervonta Tank Davis mocks rumor that Devin Haney's mother died. So if you have not heard, there has been, I mean, we've known for some time now a little bit that Devin Haney's mother has been suffering from, um, you know, medical battles and illness. And, I don't really know what's going on. It's not my business. Anything that is wanted to be said, I'm sure the Haneys would come out and say it. Obviously, the only business it is of mine is to understand what it is to have a mother, understand how much love you have for that person, and understand that that's something different, right? That's a different thing than the open world of mocking online. And so, as a person who loves his mother and had his grandmother raise him, and I love them enough to know or empathize with this, right? So, the boxing star shared two now deleted Instagram stories about April Clay, though Devin Haney and his family have not confirmed the online claim. So we don't know if she has passed. The rumors of her being ill have been out there. And the rumors that she was taken to some sort of hospital or facility, or she was already in there, were also out, right? So I'm not going to speculate on any of that. I don't know what's true or what's not. All I know is they haven't confirmed that she's passed. So I just want to make sure that's clear. But that's not the point of this. So I'll go on. Key takeaways in the story. Gervonta Davis mocked unverified rumors that Devin Haney's mother, April Clay, had died, writing in a since deleted Instagram story. She's doing the same thing her son did, went to sleep. Davis framed the post as retaliation for Haney's previous comments about his mother and family, escalating a months-long feud that has grown increasingly personal. Despite their hostility, the boxers remain linked to a potential fight after Haney said Davis representatives had reached out. The feud between Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney has taken another deeply personal turn. This targeted Haney's mother in a pair of since deleted Instagram stories early Monday, August 24th. That's cap. They started on Sunday. Amid online rumors claiming that she had died, there has been no verified confirmation from Haney or his family that his mother, April Clay, has passed away, meaning the reports circulating remain unsubstantiated. Now, this is Gervonta's IG. Now, if you don't know, Gervonta went dark with all of his social media a while back, and that was partly because of how many women he had beaten. That was partly because of how many uh, big fucking fuck ups that had happened to him, right? Like you could look at a guy like Bones Jones and be like, "Oh my god, what an idiot. He's a piece of shit." But like it was a self-destruction for him, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, he could have killed somebody and he did hurt somebody. But at the end of the day, like everything he was doing was self imploding, right? He was self imploding. This is different. Like Tank is just like this is different. This is completely different. Like this is out of pocket to a point that you'd have to explain the logic. And if you say like no, it's just shit talk, well then why delete it? Why delete it? If it's just shit talking, why delete it? Shout out to Mex in the chat. It's almost worse if she hasn't passed, isn't it? Like you don't play with that. Very good point. Very good point. Listen, this is what I believe in this world, right? And I'm not asking any of you all to believe it. I don't give a shit what you think about it. But I've done a lot in my life to try to understand God as it relates to the real world, right? So like how can particles or gravity or development on earth or evolution explain certain aspects of things, right? And in my life, here's what I've understood, or here's what I think I know. There was that book, The Secret. I don't know if y'all ever heard about it. I was in college and it like blew up. And it was the idea of like manifesting, right? So like if I want a Corvette, let's say I want like a 78 Corvette, right? Um, fucking just like a badass like cherry fucking Corvette, right? So like every day I'm gonna get in the car in my Ford Eclipse and I'm going to literally make believe that this car is my dream Corvette. All right. And when I touch the shift to bring it into automatic, I'm gonna literally be like, put it into drive and like like literally making the sounds because everything that you can do to trick your brain into believing that that's what's going to happen or that is what's happening, you know what I'm saying? So like all of that is basically prayer. I'm not saying they're the same, and at the end of the day I don't want to like hurt anybody's overly butthole feelings about their religion, but the idea that meditation, prayer, even yoga, like these are all concentrated efforts for you to visualize and attack something, a goal, I mean, right? And you know, for all the people that are overly religious and like, oh my God, that's blasphemy, that's blah blah blah. You know, at the end of the day, it's the same thing in life with everything. You have a kid who's in school and the dream or the goal ultimately is that diploma. So when he goes to school every fucking day, he's going through the motions to fulfill that diploma. Is it the same thing as prayer or wanting or wishing? I don't know. All I know is in my life, what I've seen is energy is real. Determination is real. Trying to manifest something by putting out an energy of belief is real. So for Tank to do this and she not be passed away, and again, I'm not trying to be like voodoo shit, like, oh, you know, fucking Manny Pacquiao's mom. Not at all. What I'm saying is that the idea of millions of people seeing his post and then conceptualizing the idea that Haney's mom has passed offers a not a legitimacy, it offers the potential for however God or the universe operates to essentially manifest that. And maybe she was already, you know, in a bad way, right? Maybe there was nothing you could do to stop it. But the idea that Tank would use this moment for clout, right? Because he's got to be the first one to do it. It's not even the sickening aspect of making fun of somebody's just passing mom. It's the idea that he had to do it so fast because he wanted to be the first one because he is perpetually online. When you look at guys like Tank, when you look at guys like Ryan, you're not looking at men. Ryan is a 27-year-old man who talks like a fucking 15-year-old kid. Not trying to make fun. I'm just saying a lot of these guys seem stunted. They seem like they don't have a developed mind or the maturity that you would gain in your mid to late 20s, right? And some of them are older. And so when you look at that and you ask yourself, what is Tank Davis's driving point? Is it to sell a fight that isn't even signed? I don't know. Let me go to the chat real quick. Now again, also I don't understand that Devin has said some foul shit about his mom too. Now, oh wait, now again, also I do understand that Devin has said yes, and we have to be honest about this. There is this tit for tat, back and forth aspect, right? Um, Alex said, my viewpoint on this is not the virtuous one. Tank mocked his mother. What is Devin or anyone upset with what Tank said going to do about it. Realistically, they can't do a damn thing to Tank. Okay, let me reread that. Maybe I misunderstood. My viewpoint on this is not the virtuous one. Tank mocked his mother. What is Devin or anyone upset with that, with what Tank said, going to do about it? Uh, I don't. Realistically, they can't. I don't. Okay, let me see. He followed up. I take this from hearing guys like Connor and Strickland say the worst things. At least they had the fight scheduled. You can't force Tank into the ring. Oh, okay, I understand now. It's like, what does it matter if it? Okay, but that's the point that I'm coming from. Alex's point is definitely understandable. I mean, at first he was like, "Oh, what are you going to do about?" That's like, I thought I was taking it literally. Like, that's not the point. Like, what are you going to? Like, if somebody, like, if Chick-fil-A came out tomorrow and was like, "Y'all, there's this guy Mario Munguia. He has this show. His mom is a bitch. She is a whore. We all at Chick-fil-A hate her." I would be like, okay, well, fuck y'all too. Like, what am I going to do to Chick-fil-A? I'm not going to eat there anymore. I'm going to say it's fuck Chick-fil-A time. That's all you could do, right? But it's the idea of like, what are you going to do about it? Like, you still going to eat Chick-fil-A? Because I thought you were my boy. Are you going to eat Chick-fil-A? But because I thought you loved your mom. Like, at the end of the day, we're going into this thing about, you could say, what can Devin or any of them do? They can't get into the fight. 100% true. And that's a great point to make. But what we could do is like not fuck with Tank anymore. And that seems to be the repercussions this time. So part of this story is that Tank has gone far again and he's a controversial figure. But the real part of this story is Tank is losing fans over this more than he did any other way. Now, I think we can kind of rationalize this to a degree because the idea that people didn't leave Tank for beating his or his girlfriend or baby mom or whatever follows a pattern that we've seen before, right? I mean, fucking some dudes in Baltimore were like cool with what Ray Rice did because they wanted a Super Bowl, right? Like that's crazy shit, but that is the case. So when you look here and you say, "Oh, well, what could we do?" We can't, or what can Haney do or the fighters? Nothing. But the fans are fucking leaving in flocks, right? That's the thing. Is like the vast majority of Tank's fandom is black. You do not fuck with black moms. I'm sorry. You don't. That's just the thing you don't do. Like the respect for a black mom is like one of the highest, right? In their in that family, in that culture. And so the idea that you disrespect someone's mom, I feel like the fans are thinking like, "Oh shit, that could be my mom." Or like maybe somebody's mom did just pass. So there is a bigger effect happening today for Tank based off of this than any of the other things. And the other things are a pattern of him beating women. And yet that wasn't enough for some of his fans to like flock away. Now he's actually losing fans. You could see his social medias. I think he lost like a few hundred or a few thousand, something like that. In English this time, Mario. I don't know what that meant. Yeah, Alex. The thing is, Dev and Tank have an outer entourage that can escalate things to a much more dangerous place. Absolutely, and that's a very good point, but I don't want to get lost in the sauce on this one. The idea is that these like you have to have your own line. You have to have your own like moral compass that says, "Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to say?" The idea of you pushing a fight that doesn't exist just makes you seem like an asshole, right? Like if y'all are going to fight, then everybody who understands boxing can say, "Oh, well, he just got out of pocket right there," right? Like Mike Tyson really isn't going to eat people's kids. They're just trying to sell a fight and then he went too far without thinking. But that's not this. This is a uh premeditated post that this dude was just like, "Fuck it. I'm going there with it." We've seen Dev's team get street and we know Tank's people will. Losing fans, not viewership though, Mario, and that's a big point of this. Well, it is and it isn't because losing fans is it amounts or it can amount to viewership. But we can't even ask ourselves what that viewership looks like. Tank has not been in the ring for so long. All right. And there's this like business guy. I forgot what his name is. He's like famous online, but basically it's like one of those things where if your numbers can't be solidified from a quarter to quarter basis, they're not really worth anything. And that's to say that, like, you can't sustain a business model that doesn't have you fighting or active. All I know is Tank fought against Lamont Roach in March of 2025, and then he fought in June of 2024. Those were his only two fights since April of 2023. Okay. I can't say what his star power looks like today. I'm not gonna say it's completely gone. I mean, he's certainly one of the top draws, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, pay-per-view's different. Like streaming's different from the last time Tank was on. See, but at the same but by that same respect, Devin has flat out called Tank's mom a crackhead too. So there's gonna be half the people that'll back Tank, which is we've seen in the comment section. I don't know about half though. There's definitely a portion of people for sure still standing 10 toes down for Tank. I don't think it's half. Listen, I've seen these guys post. I've seen their fandom. The truth is, the internet has created a lane for psycho cult fans to just basically suck on the dick of any person they like the most, and they can do no wrong. It's that kind of cult-like behavior that everybody's got to get out of, right? Like, I don't understand people that go to bat for Tank the way they do. Just like I don't understand the people that take up for Dana the way they do or Eddie the way they do. Like, I don't understand that rationality, but it does exist. Something affected it in the last 24 hours. You got to assume that fans are like, yo, he went too far. Like, I may not fuck with Tank after this, but I'm not going to stop watching Tank. I don't care that much. Very well said. And now here's the thing. But you do care, and not about Tank, but about boxing, right? Of course, I'm not going to stop watching boxing because of Tank, right? This isn't like a guy who's got an album coming out or he's selling a book, right? This is a sporting event. That said, though, how many people are going to care to watch now, right? You're an actual boxing fan. They don't give a fuck about you and me. They know that we're cooked in, we're baked into the system, right? So if that's the case, then how many people are going to care enough to tune in, right? So like you could say, I don't care enough about this to not tune in because you're already watching. But champ, you got to think about the people that have other shit that they'd want to do or like, right? Somebody who could watch soccer on that weekend or NASCAR or fucking go to the beach, like anything else, literally. Like, is Tank going to be a guy to draw that kind of crowd again? I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying these are the topics right here, because it's like, again, I already thought he was a piece of shit for still beating the shit out of women every chance he got. It seems like this dude's got so many, and I didn't mean to laugh at it. It's just like, damn, dog, like you got short man syndrome or some shit, bro. Like you need to see a therapist or fucking get a dick implant surgery. I don't know what would help your ego from what you do, but that's already, you lost me, right? That don't mean I'm gonna not watch boxing. Why the fuck should I punish myself because he's a piece of shit? But then at the end of the day, again, you have a fandom of black men and women that make up the vast majority of Tank. And in that culture, the disrespect towards a mother is definitive for them, for a lot of them, for a lot of people who come from a strong female household. That said, um, it's yeah, it's something where nobody, how many of those people that would turn their back on Tank even know that Devin said something about his mom, right? Like none of that shit was in Complex. Like this is getting actual traction. You know what I'm saying? This is getting actual traction from the news. So the idea that it's about like, oh, tit for tat or right for wrong, it's not. It is, it should be, but it's not. Not in reality, right? Because the vast majority of people don't consume things like that. So somebody who saw this story today that would watch boxing and would and has before purchased a Tank fight could see it today and say, that's the line I draw. Fuck that guy for that. Without even knowing what happened with Devin, without even knowing what was said previously. Now, This was from uh from Tank's IG. Put crazy how Buddy talked about my mom only for his mom to check a few weeks later. Now post that. Inshallah. Dude, this guy. And so it's like, I don't know. At the end of the day, here's the thing. I don't care about certain aspects of this, right? Like I really don't, because it's like all shit talk and they're just dumb kids. Um, but it's like it's crazy to me. Like people consider themselves religious in this world and don't live like it at all, right? The vast majority, I'd say, of people who consider themselves some sort of religious or maybe they belong to a specific religion. And then it's like, but you go home and you do all this other shit, or you say all this other shit, or you have these feelings and beliefs that don't align with Christianity or Islam or Judaism, like whatever. Like you, and so then for me to see like Tank in this, and this is the guy who tried to like purport this religious shift and all these aspects, and it's like, dude, your whole life is just a bunch of bullshit. Like that's all it is. You're just a fucking bunch of bullshit. Like you're talking about your mom, his mom, and then a watch. Like the 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 smallest dick in the world, I can't imagine even doing this stuff. Like you're not a grow or you're not a shower, fine. But come on, champ, you got to be some kind of grower. Is your dick really that small that you got to take it there? In one post, Davis shared an image purporting showing Haney's mother and wrote, "She's doing the same thing her son did, went to sleep." Apparently referencing Haney being knocked down 3 times during his 2024 fight against Ryan Garcia. Davis has followed that with another Instagram story that made reference to more explicit. Crazy how Buddy talked about my mom for only for his mom to check a few weeks later. Now post that, Davis wrote, adding, inshallah. Davis and Haney spent months trading increasingly personal attacks online with their families, blah, blah, blah. Earlier this summer, Haney posted a photograph of Davis alongside his mother on Father's Day and captioned it, "Happy Father's Day," an apparent jab at Davis's family. Mm. And this is probably like the biggest part of it, bro. Y'all want me to get real with it? Y'all want me to get real with it? It could be as simple as Buddy, it could be as simple as Buddy not fucking bullshit, dude. Okay, fuck it. I'm leaving it there. It could be as simple as Buddy like not like being jealous. You know what I mean? Like what is Tank's dad like? Okay, hold on. So like you got uh Garen Davis, right? That's Tank's dad. Now, I'm not here to like bring up nobody's personal family shit or whatever. So like I'm not gonna get into it, right? Because like if you know, fine. But I'm not gonna like sit here and tell you all the reasons why Tank's dad was a piece of shit and all the reasons why Tank might be a piece of shit because of it. But what I can say is obviously he grew up without his father around mostly. And a lot of that was based on incarceration, drug addiction. So Tank had a really rough childhood. I would not purport to um, believe that he had super strong male role models in his life, other than probably like Calvin Ford, right, and his coaches. But all that could ever do is teach somebody to be a man inside the ring, which is something you could use to utilize and learn to be a man outside the ring, but not if nobody's making that distinction, not if nobody's making that connection. So this could be honestly like as simple as as Tank is jealous that Devin's got a dad, jealous that Devin's got a dad that gives a fuck, that Devin's got a dad that tries to care and also doesn't really get in his son's way. I mean, every father gets in his son's way at this point in boxing, to a degree when they're that involved, but how much of it is out of love and how much of it is out of ego. So like I'll look at Devin Haney's dad and I'll say, damn, he loves his son and he knows that there is a like right way and a wrong way to do this um while navigating the pitfalls. Whereas I could look at like let's use Teofimo Senior. Like I could look at him and wonder how much of his ego is baked into that. How much of his pride on Saturday was affected by the podcast with Rick Reno and his son basically saying like, "You don't know shit about boxing, champ. You're not a good coach in the corner." Like to just be like, "Hit him!" Like that's not good, champ. That's not good enough. There was a moment in the fight with Rolly on this weekend where he literally Teofimo Senior he said, "You gotta hit him right here," and he pointed to a spot on like his sternum where he wanted him to jump on, right? And it's like crazy to me because the thing is that you're fucking in the wrong, like this the wrong time. If you thought that was a spot that y'all needed to target, then buddy boy, that was your job to get him ready for that. What combination? Why don't you tell me the combination that's going to target that? Because you done worked on that in camp. Because you had Teo there and you didn't say, "Hey, this is what Buddy's going to do. This is what Rolly's going to do." No, you said this is what Rolly might come out to do here. But then if you do this, he could do that. If he does that, you could do. It's chess. It's fucking chess. It's not playing Super Mario where you have like levels
Bro,
through one and one.
oh, shit. We're good? We good?
I can hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Let me read Mex's real quick. 'Cause I didn't see that there was a bunch of comments. Tank is a draw to the casuals. They still will tune in to see if he'll sleep somebody or to see if he finally gets beat. That hasn't changed. I don't know if that has changed or not. I really can't say. I think that is definitely something that's always been true about boxing and
Yeah.
boxers. I don't know if that's true about
Well,
Tank
Mario,
current.
the same thing happened to Ryan Garcia. No, after his outburst, what he said, people wanted to see him get beat. You know, they want to see him. They want to see justice in the only way they can.
Yes and no, right? Because he came back and fought Rolly on a triple stacked card. So it
And he
wasn't like they
lost.
thought, but it wasn't like they thought Ryan Garcia was still that guy, right?
But
It wasn't like
I'm saying to people, it justified that was enough as like serving his penance. You know what I mean? He got super embarrassed on like one of the biggest stages.
no.
He fucked up a
Okay,
setup for one of the biggest money fights they could have had, and it was like, okay, this was, this worked for some people. Like, okay, now he's fine. He can do whatever.
okay. I understand that point, but my point is this: we're in 2026, right? There is boxing on Netflix. There's boxing on Prime. There's boxing on DAZN. There's boxing on TNT. There's UFC on Paramount. There's MMA on Prime. There's MMA on Fight Network and on then there's the DAZN channel. There's
Hmm.
the point I'm trying to make is there are a
I feel like I'm
ton
really
of
loud.
things that are more. You said what?
Am I loud or is it me?
You sound clear. You sound a little bit louder than me, but I don't think it's that bad. You sound
It might
very
just be my
clear.
headphones. My
Yeah,
bad.
it's
Go ahead.
probably just your volume. And so the idea that this era that we're in of boxing is the same kind of era that we've been in. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Like if Tank were to come back tomorrow and fight, let's say Zepeda, right?
Hmm.
Would that be like a major fight? Like would they try to put it in a stadium, an
Yeah,
arena? Would they try
that
to
would
do
be a
like the
massive
Tank
fight.
shit?
That's the green print, bro. What do you mean?
But it's the green print for fighters that are fighting and in
Hmm.
the fight game, right? Is it that way for Tank? Like, is Tank still seen as that guy with everything with boxing passing him by, right? Like,
Yes,
did boxing catch up to his stardom? Is that where we are? Because it used to be Tank and
I don't
everyone
think
else.
so, because if you go back to last March, the only guy that's selling pay-per-views is Tank. So it's like Tank Davis is as much as you don't like him personally, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying like, the holy you as a general thing, right? If you don't like him, he's a star. He's a draw. He brings what the casual fans likes in terms of knockouts and controversy.
Yes.
If he was to announce a Cepeda fight any point this year, it would be one of the biggest fights of the year in terms of attention, because it's Tank Davis. He's just one of those guys, bro.
Yeah.
And
I,
to me,
I,
and
I,
to me, it's like, and to me, he'll survive this because people will. you know, how many people are gonna really know that this even happened that are watching casually?
See, and that's kind of my point, though. It's like boxing has a weird fandom where it's a small portion of hardcores that follow from a day-to-day basis, right? But in that hardcore fandom, there's a big portion of people who only care about Tank
Mhm.
or Haney or
Mhm.
the Shade Room, right? Mex has this comment where he said, I'm hearing yo, do you have I think my volume is popping on yours. It's doubling up.
Hmm.
It's like I can hear it on your mic. Check, check. Yeah, it's like
How about now?
check. Yeah, I can still hear it. It's like
It's
I'm
like I'm
echoed on yours.
How about now?
Let me see. Check. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
back.
back.
That's
That's
weird.
weird.
You want to jump out and jump back in?
Yeah, let me get out and get back.
Cool. So this is a comment Mex said. He said Dev comments about Tank Mom made those sites. It was definitely in the Shade Room. You're absolutely right. And that's the portion of Tank's casual fandom that you can see is powerful because they didn't make the Shade Room. He never left the Shade Room. But that's again different. The sites that continuously purport these kinds of stories is different than what the traction of this is getting, right? Because those stories were pitted as look at how far they're going ahead of this fight. Oh my God, they hate each other. But it feels like this story's being interpreted different. Like, holy shit, look at how big of a piece of shit Tank is. How I can't believe he did that. And again, I'm not saying that's the case. Like, this might just be a dumb comment he made because he is trying to sell a fight that he believes is going to get made and he believes could be huge. And that's super fair to do. But I wonder, um, for some of his fan base, has this gone a step too far? Our favorite Predator told us that it's a lot of big dick motherfuckers that beat women, Mario. FY, actually, they usually the ones who get away with it the most. What? I don't even understand I mean, I get the context of what you said, but so all right, Mex is going around and he's measuring everybody who beats their partner's dicks, and because I couldn't understand how you would know that any other way. Like, the argument is that big dick guys beat up their women and get away with it more. Can't imagine anything that could be used to prove that point. I can't imagine there's a single study. There should be, though. There should be. Uh, let's be honest, though, Mario. A lot of people just now even realized Devin Haney even had a mother. He knew we've never really heard about her. Well, when you say a lot of people, you mean like hardcores, right? Because you're not saying like, I mean, because everybody has a mother. You know what I mean? And so it's like, do I think that Tank is gonna lose any of the 100% of hardcore fandom that surrounds him? Probably not, right? But what percentage of us hardcores make up the revenue that, you know, identifies Tank as one of the biggest sellers and draws? It's mostly casual fans. So while I don't believe any hardcores would be like, I'm so offended, I'll never watch another fight of his again, not at all. Do I believe, though, that there are enough casual fans to be like, that was fucked up. You know what? I'm going to go fucking see fucking, I don't know, who, JPEG Mafia this weekend. Or I'm going to go see fucking Ella Langley. I don't know who the fuck ever. Like, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there are other things you could do. Casual fans have so much more options today, right? Like even this weekend, there was a brand risk fight. Did anybody see that? Probably not because it sucked, but there was a brand risk fight. I just think Tank don't think before he speaks. Very good point. Or does anything for that matter, very reactionary person. I think you're absolutely right. Teo Sr., hit him, bro. Teo, I am. Good one, Mex. That shit had me laughing. Hell yeah, champ. Ryan is example of star power sticks when you when you're a real star. Oh, my bad. I was like, when you're a real what? I was like, piece of shit. No, no, yeah, when you're a real star. Yeah, but it's also shows you that you have to stay in the media, right? Like you can't just leave. And that's I think the biggest difference between Tank and everyone else you've mentioned, is that Tank exists now in an era where he's been gone for a really long time, allowed everyone else to kind of make up the space, and then not even purported to like change anything, right? He's still fucking the same guy who's still not fighting anybody because none of that shit affected him in the least. Very true. You're a tad loud. Oh, that was for probably Matt, unless it's for me. If I'm loud, please let me know too. What you mean, Mario? Floyd was using that green print fighting once a year every 18 months. That's how it's done. See, okay, that's perfect. I'm so glad you made that point. Now maybe I can use this to get you to understand what I'm saying. That was a long time ago. Boxing is different, pay-per-view is different, streaming is different, and the era of Instagram Live, TikTok Live, YouTube Live have changed the dynamics for how people watch boxing and wrestling and MMA.
Yo,
So the idea that you sound perfect. The idea that Floyd was using that green print is true. The idea that that green print works the same way today, I don't know. And then you also have to go onto the idea that Floyd had already had his biggest fight of his career at that point, one of them certainly, and then he left. So it's like that star power stays to a degree, and even when it kind of tapers off, it's still so much higher than everybody else, as opposed to Tank, where he did have a relatively high star power, but only by comparison to the rest of the scene. When you compare it to that of Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Floyd, the drop off is significant. So the idea that he is a star by today's comparison and in boxing is absolutely true because it's all relative, right? Like Mex, you don't know what something heavy is, right? Until you figured out what something light was, right? You didn't know how dark anything could be until you saw how bright the sun could be, right? So it's all relative. The idea that Floyd could do this back then, but Tank isn't even close to representing what Floyd represented back then. I think I said it right. But anyway, Matt, what do you think? Can Tank come back and just be Tank again?
yeah, he absolutely can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One
Uh,
hundred
does
percent,
he
bro.
does he have to? But does he have to win and perform? Like, or you're just saying like they'll watch him no matter what, until he loses? Like, does he have to fight
Mm,
somebody good, or do you think because like it seems like he had a lot more fans
I feel
5 years ago, and he's lost a lot because he hasn't been fighting anybody. That's the narrative, right? So it feels like there is a line. You know what I mean? For some of these guys.
I feel like if he comes out and fights Zepeda, that's good enough. Especially if he knocks him out, he for sure has to win because people are gonna remember the whole Lamont Roach thing, and Lamont Roach losing doesn't look good. But if he beats the guy who beat Roach and possibly knocks him out, brings him right back center stage.
Yeah. Um, that's a good point. I don't know. Here's the tough thing, though, right? It's like Floyd grew into a style of fighting that best um, utilized the place he was as an athlete. So what I mean is the style he started to lean more into had him take less punishment. He didn't have to prepare his body in the same kind of way that you would for if you're going to traditionally exchange and stuff like that. So he
Hmm.
probably had less wear and tear on his body compared to other fighters that go through camp. And then on top of that, he had raised his name to a level in which he was the perpetual A side, meaning that even though judges go in there and they're supposed to be unbiased, he's the king, he's the star maker, so you got to beat him.
Oh, we
So
saw
his
that this
style,
weekend for sure.
we saw that this weekend, and look what happened, right? Rolly said it, and I'm so glad you said that because I actually have a clip for it too. Rolly said it. Why didn't I get this fight? Why didn't I get the win? He said it. He said, because they don't respect my boxing because I'm a power puncher. And I'm not saying I believe any of this. I'm just saying this was his point. I'm a power puncher. So they expect more from me. So when I go in there and I box beautifully in a way that other guys get, given pound for pound status for, they don't look at that. They see me losing because I'm a power puncher. So I'm losing because of that. And so the idea that Floyd Mayweather was able to go in there with the same sort of boxing principle, right? Trying to attempt to capture the same fight script, then you have to say, well, there's the difference. One of them was the king of boxing who was being given the perpetual A-side treatment, and the other is Rolly Romero. And that's all I'm going to say about that part. You know what I mean? So very interesting point. Very well said. Listen, in fact, let's get to that real quick. Matt, I want your take on what we saw this past weekend, and specifically as it relates to these right here. A very, very, very telling scorecard. Now, for the vast majority of you who saw this fight, you'll know that the fans believed that Teo was ahead by a much wider margin. Mannix had it pretty wide as well. But then when we went to the scorecards, we had a majority decision. The majority decision, which, by the way, that's what we called here on Infighting FX, and I'm not even going to take credit for it because there shouldn't have been a majority decision. But that said, or maybe it, listen, maybe it should have, maybe it shouldn't have. Matt, what do you think? Are these scores? What are these scores?
These scores are disgusting, bro. That's what they are.
Disgusting, he said.
For everybody that was tuned in with us over at Talking About Radio, we scored this fight 118-110 for Teo. That's 10 rounds to 2. We gave him the first, and then obviously you got to give him the fifth because, he had the greatest moment of the fight. He never capitalized. He was boxing decently, but Teofimo Lopez was doing such beautiful work to the body, bro. And I watched this fight 3 total times yesterday, right?
Oh, I saw that. You're an animal, bro.
Well, like not 3 times in a day, but like I watched it the initial time, right? I watched it again the next morning, and I went scrolling through Twitter and listening to other podcasts, and I'm watching it again just because I don't see 6 rounds for Rolly. I don't even see 4 rounds for Rolly, bro. At most, I can see 3 if you're being nice, because he started coming on a little bit in that 4th, but he didn't follow up in the 6th. He for sure won rounds 1 and 5. But beyond that, bro, Teofimo was dominating this man. Like I said, Mario, did you not see his Rolly's ribs and his elbow?
I was actually
just completely red as my shirt is now. Body work, beautiful.
Yeah, I was actually signing in my Apple to show people. When you said that body thing, I was like, oh God, I got to show everybody.
Yes, bro, and just like I said, Teofimo was controlling the entire action, dictating the pace of the fight, moving Rolly where he needed it, and just like I said, bro, this beautiful body work that was happening was just amazing.
Absolutely right.
What did you score the fight, Mario?
I'll tell you in just a second. Let me read this real quick. I definitely asked about dick size, but fill in the hilarious. The key part was a mother Devin knew. Oof, yikes. I watched the highlights on the midget beating up Island Boy. Oh, we can watch that later.
I watched Brand Risk too. I thought it was me.
You watched the whole Brand Risk? Oh,
I watched the guys that I knew because like me, with like the that Menery guy.
I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it for real because who got fucked up? Larry Wills, and I'm about to. Bro, I'm gonna put everybody in the game with this shit.
No, bro, that FaZe dude that fought Austin McBroom, he got put to sleep. I don't know if you saw that one.
I saw that. I don't like Austin McBroom, bro. I feel like he's a fucking fraud. I feel like he's a dude who's like, hey, everybody, look at me. I love my family. Give me a millions of subscribers. Oh, I got him. I'm gonna fuck bitches now. Like,
bro, have you not seen the what's that shit called? The Call Her Daddy with his wife or his ex-wife?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
She put all that shit out there.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. And I'll be honest, like, the kids are the ones that get hurt in that shit. I feel so bad for them.
Oh, yeah.
But humans are very much creatures of habit, and that green print is second nature. Very true. Tank had his Oscar fight, though, Mario. Who else has put 1 mil legit buys in this decade? Not even Spencer Grant. Very true. Tank, at this point, can just fight anybody because people will... No, that's not true. But, see, yes, he could just fight anybody.
They were going to watch him fight Jake Paul?
Sure, he could just fight anybody, but not anybody could get you 500,000, right? Like, there's a difference between fighting, like, Zepeda, and then there's a difference between fighting, like, fucking Regis Prograis.
500,000 what, though?
Buy rate, whatever. I mean, listen.
Because you're telling me, like, he couldn't pull up to Baltimore with anybody and sell?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You have to push the
Or Atlanta.
not
He could
you,
go to Atlanta.
not you, but you would have to push the goalposts for this next fight, right? Because you can't just send him into Vegas to fight a random, right? He can't just fight Prograis and everybody's gonna be like, fuck yeah, we're ready to see it. No, he's still very much B-side dependent. And the idea that he's comparable to Floyd is not necessarily true. Floyd had a level of success that he was able to get no matter who he fought. But the better the B side, the more he raised it, right? So then you look at somebody like Robert Garcia, I think that did slightly under $1 million, and then you look at Pacquiao and that did crazy numbers, right? That's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
look at
saying
Chino
here. I
Maidana.
think-
Nobody knew who the hell he was in a casual sense.
but okay, but that's
That's
a that's a circumstantial evidence. When we look at the data and what the story it tells, it suggests very clearly the stronger the B side, the more that you do higher in revenue, right? So can Tank
but
come back and fight somebody like Regis Prograis and people give it the celebratory return that you would give a heroic A side or a guy that everybody can't wait to see? Or is it just the idea that he is marketable, he is valuable, but he doesn't exist today as that super big distance between everybody else, right? Like, would you say today Tank is just as big a star compared to everybody else than he is today? Or would you assume that Shakur, Devin, a lot of these guys have really kind of caught up to him?
I don't think Shakur and Devin Haney sell as many tickets as Tank Davis does on a regular
But I
basis.
didn't say that. That's not what I said. I said, can you say that Tank star power has increased as much as Shakur, Teo, Ryan, any of those guys in the last 3-4 years, right? Like whatever level of stardom you had those guys in 2020, you have Shakur, Devin, Ryan higher, making bigger leaps than Tank has made in that time, correct?
I think I could
That is
only
because
say
Tank has done almost nothing but beat women and get in
I
trouble.
think I could say Ryan Garcia is just as high or right under Tank Davis. Everybody else is not.
And he wasn't though. He wasn't, was he? He
But
wasn't.
I'm saying he's the only one. The other ones aren't. And that's
But
not
the
to
other
take
ones
credit
are
from them as
closer- but the other
boxers.
ones are closer today than they were 5 years ago, right? Devin Haney's star is brighter today than it ever was in 5 years ago. We can't say the same thing about Tank. We can't. Maybe we could say it's as bright.
Okay,
it's
Devin
certainly
Haney
not
for sure, but not
brighter.
Shakur, bro.
Here's the thing, though. Now let's go on Shakur's side of it. He's not, because 5 years ago he was a fucking bubble fighter that Top Rank wouldn't give him anything. Now he's on ESPN. He's on Shannon's show. He's doing the media rounds. I'm not saying he should be perceived as a bigger star. I'm telling you that despite my hardcore sensibilities, the casual fandom recognizes him more today and expects star personality from him today in a way they didn't 5 years ago. Bro, you go listen to his interview on Sway, but that's some pussy shit. He's like,
But Mario,
yeah, I think me and Devin are going to be the big
who do they
fight
want
one day.
Shakur
He's
to
so
fight though,
good."
Mario? That's the thing.
Exactly.
They want
You know why?
he's the
Because-
B to Tank Davis right now.
and the exact same way that Pacquiao was the B to I mean, not the exact same way, but it's in the same way that Pacquiao was the B to Floyd, right? There's always going to be somebody who's going to be able to increase the value of your fight as a B side, right? So if your point is that,
But that's
Tank's
what I'm
still-
saying. They
no,
haven't
okay,
caught up to
if
him
your
because
point-
he's still the A side.
and literally that's what I was about to say. If your point is that Tank has not been superseded as the A side and still exists as the A side regardless of the opponent, I'm not disagreeing with you. I still think he is at the top of the mountain, right?
Yes.
But let's think about it this. It's a 5, let's just say this, because this is how my autism brain works. Let's just say this mountain of celebrity boxing is a 5,000 feet mountain, right? And Tank was sitting at the 4,000 mark while everybody's bitch ass was down there at the 1,000 mark. Today, Tank might be sitting like 4,200 elevation while everybody else is like 35 to 4, right? So like it's closer today. The A side, B side.
This kind of sounds
separation
like the
is
same thing I
closer
was talking
today.
about earlier when
In
I
what
said a
regard?
certain wrestling company closed the gap because another company lost numbers, but they didn't gain any numbers. That's what you're saying. That's what it sounds like to me.
You said it the other way. You said
But
AWA
that's
gained.
what I'm saying. This is what you're saying. They closed the gap because this guy's losing numbers, not because they're gaining
No, I
numbers.
didn't say that. I said
That's how it's
okay,
coming off, though.
what I'm saying is this: in celebrity, in athletics, in entertainment, it's like a shark. If you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Mhm.
If you're not a person who's getting your name into the stratosphere of media and social media, then your star dims, it dwindles. I'm not saying that this is like politics and Tank fans are leaving him and flocking to the Haneys. What I'm saying is there is a fandom that Haney and Shakur have built over the last 5 years that
Mhm.
were new to boxing. They brought these guys in, right? Some of them were barely even familiar with Tank, maybe seen him fight before, but wouldn't call themselves a fan. So in the last 5 years, when you look at where Haney, Shakur, Ryan, and Tank all were, I can say that I see real moves that were made on the Haney side, real moves that were made on the Shakur side to increase their fandom, right? Because there's levels to this. You could look at The Rock in 2000 and say, oh my God, he's one of the biggest wrestlers in the world. And he was. You could look in 2021 and say he's the
But
biggest wrestler
Mario,
in WWE. But in 2010, you would say, holy shit, this guy's a fucking Hollywood celebrity. So there are levels to this stardom. Tank never hit that Floyd Mayweather security blanket level of star power like Conor McGregor, where you can just assume no matter what he does, everyone's going to flock to buy. I don't think Tank is there. I don't think that he
Mario,
ever was there.
Tank was just in headlines because his hair was getting blown out, bro. A month ago.
Uh, he was
That's
in
not even
black
boxing,
headlines. He was in black headlines. Those are different, right?
but
On
that's
ESPN.
headlines. That's the casual. Those
To the
people, like,
same
look,
people that are already watching, right?
but those
So,
are
like,
the same people that are gonna
I would
follow
say
Tank Davis to whatever arena he's at.
fair, but you admit that that's different from Obafemi and Brock Lesnar being on the cover of Fightful, of Ring Rope, of fucking Wrestle Talk is different than them being on the cover of
It's different.
ESPN
But
or
it's different in
Fox
the other way,
or
Mario, because Tank Davis generates his own fucking economy. I can take my business and it's gonna do great anywhere in this community. He is in the thick of the community that he needs, that he sells to. The people from Baltimore, people from Atlanta, people in New York, people in DC. They fucking love themselves some Tank Davis and they will flock to him no matter where he's at. He's just one of those guys. It's the same thing for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is the biggest name in Mexican boxing, and wherever Canelo goes, the crowd will follow. It's the same thing for
yes,
Naoya
and
Inoue.
and
Then
now and
Naoya
now
Inoue is the biggest thing in Japan, and his crowd will
sure.
follow him no
And
matter
if
where he goes.
And if either of those guys, like if Canelo's star would have stopped rising in 2016 and Inouye's would have stopped rising in like 2021, neither of them would be the height or
That
the level that they are today, right? And
Mario
now
Canelo
the same thing
Alvarez
can be
has
said about
lost
Tank.
three
If Tank
times.
if Tank had been maneuvering in a way that would lead to a brighter or lead to more opportunity, more star power. At the end of the day, Tank is not a commercial star. Like this guy's not on commercials. He's not doing all the press.
He
Like
doesn't
nobody
have.
wants.
He's his own economy. He doesn't need to be on a
Tank,
commercial.
bro. Kevin Hart has to. Floyd, everybody has to. They want to. You don't just make
Mario,
money by being Tank Davis. You gotta
Mario,
make money by
we
making
saw
money.
we saw Canelo Alvarez on a commercial this weekend for what? His own product.
Sure. I don't understand the
Tank
point.
Davis doesn't need commercials. He is the commercial success. He's the product
No,
you're
champ.
selling.
Oh, you're
You,
tripping so hard,
but,
champ. You're
but you
tripping
have to
so
look
hard.
look at
And I'm
look at where
shocked
boxing
that a
is
guy
today,
like
Mario.
you
Hold on,
who
real
actually
quick,
watches
real quick.
sports. Go ahead.
Let me get this up. Look at where boxing is today, Mario. We have switched from beer brands, movies, and other commercial items that are coming out to now being sponsored by OnlyFans, hydration drinks, and streaming platforms, bro. Tank Davis is the perfect guy for that era of things, and that's what he is. He's that guy. Tank
No,
Davis,
no, no. See, that's where you're wrong. Tank Davis is like the most popular soccer player compared to fucking Patrick Mahomes, the most popular football player. Like
but
again,
who
this
has
is why
more
I'm so
followers on
surprised. This
Instagram?
is why I'm so surprised that you're making this argument because the idea that boxing hardcore somehow amount or surmount to the kinds of
He's
hardcores
not
that exist
selling
in
to me and
football or
you,
basketball.
Mario.
He's not selling to anybody, Matt.
Yes,
That's what
he
I'm
is.
telling
He's
you.
selling to that
How?
community you just brought up.
So then tell me what has he done in the last 3 years that add to his boxing resume and not his trashy fucking soap opera digest life that ends up doing clicks for other people, but not necessarily raising his profile.
I mean, look, here's the thing though, Mario. That's the difference when you're a star, right?
Yeah.
Being a
Yeah.
star is different.
Yeah.
Being a star, like I said, being a star like somebody like Canelo, right? Canelo's lost 3 times clean, right? But his star power never diminished. He's a star, right?
No. That's a fair point.
Ryan Garcia just went through one of the worst controversies you could ever go through, right? Ryan Garcia is still a star. Tank Davis hasn't fought in over a year and a half almost. And yet he is making headline news in the regular world no matter what he's doing.
Damn, you're giving him the
I'm
bare
not look, and I want
minimum.
you to understand, I'm not making it okay. I'm trying to get you to understand he's
No.
selling his fights to them.
I never once have thought you were trying to make the argument that this is okay. Not at all.
Yes.
I think
I
the
just want to make
debate
that
you're
clear.
making is that Tank is a star, and that's not has nothing to do with his personality. So no, I've never
Star.
taken that way. If anybody else is taking it that way, then they're wrong. The idea that you're bringing to the table is that Tank has gotten to a level of stardom within boxing or within
Yes.
athletics that means that he can have these personal follies and
Mhm.
not lose the
Mario,
star power.
he was
Real
gonna
quick,
fight Jake Paul and make millions
and
of
then he
dollars.
didn't, champ, and they purposely took him out of there. So I think that actually goes to my point more because if he
But
was that
they
star, hold on,
they
real quick,
weren't
if he
doing
was
it
that
because look,
star,
as
if he
much as
was
the
that star, they
situation that
wouldn't have given a
happened,
fuck. They wouldn't have given a fuck if he was that star. They
Showtime
wouldn't have
never
given a
took
fuck.
him off for any of that shit. Showtime didn't do that.
That's a
Jake
way
Paul
different.
took him off because they were mad at who Jake Paul was fighting.
And that goes to your point. We're in a different era of boxing. We used to have fucking stripper, hooker ass ring girls. We used to have beer fucking
Mario, they just
companies,
had Mike
people doing
Tyson on their
cocaine in the
platform.
bathroom, right? But guess what? Today is different, right? They're trying to make it more MLB. They're trying to make it more NFL, right? They want big time,
They're into
bigger
live
type of
events.
sponsors. They don't want to have like these fucking crazy sponsors that makes the sport seem crazy. But real quick, let me read Mex's stuff because I didn't see this real quick. And nobody's giving Teo credit for being the reason that Rolly was keeping his hands at home. Good call. And Mannix and Mora did absolute shit job this weekend. They acted as if
I
Rolly
forgot that's
wasn't
what we were talking about.
listening in the corner. I know. And watched him following Salas' instructions to a T, but they said, oh, he's not listening. Hilarious.
That's another thing.
Nobody knew
Can we
Robert
stop right there
Guerrero.
real quick?
Sure.
The fact that they kept saying that Rolly's not listening is insane. He was listening. He just couldn't execute against what Teo was doing. The shit wasn't working.
What do you think that? Okay, so break it down. Tell people what you heard and what you're saying. So
Like,
just in
okay,
case
so like
people didn't watch it.
look at the last round alone, right? Where they kept saying it a bunch, like, oh yeah, he's not listening. And like he followed instructions to a T when he was saying to come out quick, be aggressive, start with his jab and go down to the body. And that's exactly what Rolly fucking did. Like that was proof. It's just he was doing it like my brother was saying he was doing it in his own way, or he just couldn't fucking execute it because of I mean, bro, look at his side right there, Mario. We can see
Thank
the
you.
redness. He
Yes,
just couldn't do it.
I want to get to this point. I don't want to lose it. But this is what you had brought up earlier. You said that his side was tattooed, and it
Yes.
was. And I want to make sure that people understand the severity of this situation here. Not severity, but like this was fucking crazy. Okay, look at his arm right here, and then look at when he gets it to the side. Ladies and gentlemen, Teo was just aiming here. And I said this during the telecast. And when you are throwing punches that are meant to make a difference, it doesn't matter where they land. Obviously, it does. You want it to land on the chin. You want it to land on the softest part of the body to stop them or at least hurt them. But the idea of you throwing as hard as you can and hitting anything is a good thing. You look at that arm, and if you think that lead left of Rolly's was feeling okay to throw, you're an idiot. You don't know anything, and you've never boxed.
You have to handicap that somebody.
You've handicapped them. That's exactly what you've done. You've taken speed off his jab. You've taken power off his pop, and now you can't use it to set up your other.
If you look from the 8th round on, it looks like Rolly's like throwing feint hooks, but he's really shaking his arm out. His arm's dead. He's going like this, and he's like,
I saw that and totally forgot about it. You're awesome for fucking remembering that because that's a huge point. There were a lot of people that I watched it with who are casuals that were like, "Is his arm hurt, Mario? Do you think his arm's hurt?" And I was like, "Damn,
you got to think back to the Canelo Callum Smith fight where he just completely deaded his arm and made it useless. It's the same thing.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened here. And so you could see the redness on the body everywhere. Look at this. The whole thing is red from his rib cage to his arms,
Mm-hmm.
elbows,
Bro, here his
forearms, his
elbow is red.
biceps. Look at all of this is red. So yes, you're absolutely right. Very good point. You said, wait, was I showing y'all that? Did you see it?
Yep.
You did. Oh,
Yes.
that was weird. I don't know how it jumped to this. That's cool. A layoff in which Floyd went to jail for beating his baby mama sounds like Tank is following the Prince of E. That's fucked up.
Boom.
Tank's star power didn't increase, and they still haven't caught up to him.
Yeah.
Sure, and that's a great point, but I mean, it's not a great point. It's
He's
it's
still right
conceding
here.
my argument because my argument is that Tank was the top guy and still is the top guy. My argument is that Tank and his team, by doing nothing over the last several years, have allowed all these other names to catch up. So back when it would have been Tank versus Shakur, Tank, you're going to take fucking 30 and I'm getting 70 and you're going to shut the fuck up about it. And that would have gotten done like that. It don't get done like that no more.
Because Tank's a star.
Tank isn't as big a star anymore than as he was to Shakur, right? Shakur,
No, he's
listen.
It's not to the point. It's not to the point where I have to doubt who the A side is.
Sure, absolutely. I wouldn't suggest that either. That said, though,
but that's if I can get to that point, it's close.
Exactly,
but
and that's what I'm trying to say. It's like
in Shakur's case, though, Mario,
Tank has done nothing but cause controversies that put off the casual fan, right? I'm not saying they all go away, but I am saying that several of them would, right? Like imagine you just lost your mom to cancer, and you're a lifelong Tank fan. You're probably like, fuck that motherfucker right now. Eat a dick and suck it hard. I'm never fucking with that dude again.
But his fans aren't like that, Mario. That's the problem.
Nah, champ, you're tripping. I would say that his core fan base, like
the Tankomaniacs, Mario, they're not like that, and they're strong in number.
About a small ass number of his.
No,
like
they're strong in number.
No, they're not. Not at all. They are loud, but they're not strong in numbers, champ. I go on right now and call Tank a small dick fucking pussy. Yeah, I'll probably get like 5-10 people to jump on talking shit, but it ain't the same way it used to be, champ. Not even close.
I say that because he has
talk shit about Tank.
But here's the thing. He has so many narrative pushers in his favor. That's why I say they're strong in numbers, because they will switch them right fucking back to his side, and they'll forget.
They're strong in propaganda. That's all they are. They don't have the numbers like they used to. I'm telling you, champ. Like he's not even like.
But that's what I'm saying. He's got the strong enough propagandists to switch those people right back, and you'll completely forget about it because it's the next fight.
And now I'm telling you, I think other people have caught up to that game and doing it just as well, specifically with the star power that they're able to utilize based on their connections. You're not going to say that Shakur's time around the hip hop world and Jay Prince hasn't solidified himself inside the black community. Absolutely has. Tank did the same thing. That's the same way Tank got big. Is all these rappers and badass fucking actors
but the thing is, bro, those same people have said they don't like the way Shakur fights. He's not doing what Tank's doing. That's what they like, is what Tank's doing.
And just like y'all use Floyd to win a point,
but Mario, he was Pretty Boy first.
Pay for you to lose. But how many fans?
He was Pretty Boy first.
By the time we got to the money, Floyd guy, how many of those fans even knew who the fuck Pretty Boy was? How many of them even watched the Corrales fight? You're giving them too much credit. It's only like
I feel like a lot of people saw that fucking Corrales fight, bro.
No, they didn't.
Come on.
No, they didn't.
And then not only that, let me tell you, he raised his star power, right? By actually going through the way hey, hold on. Get out of here, man. If you're gonna be huffing and puffing, go back outside. Hey.
Was the dog?
Yes. Fucking 10-year-old mutt just breathing hard. Go back outside. But anyway, he beat the biggest star in boxing and took it to a level of taunting them with it. I beat your guy and you just kept bringing up more guys. Tank Davis got that Floyd rub and he was still knocking dudes out, and he was even doing the shit where he would dress like Floyd. The fact that he was presented in such a way, and then he was able to take his ball away from Floyd and still draw a crowd, proves his star power, bro.
Yeah. No. I get that. Shout out to Alex. He said, I haven't seen Tank Fanboy 86 in a few days. He seems to not have an opinion on what Tank said. He'll probably pretend it didn't happen. And then Mech said, yep, Tank fans are like Dems, just loud, but not really strong in numbers. Good call, Mario. Great comparison. Well, the Democratic, I mean,
Jesus,
that's
just breathe
not
in
smart
here.
at all. Dems are like registered in more states by bigger numbers than Republicans. The idea is that if you're a loud enough fan base, you can make people think that you have more support than you do. That was the point I was making. So I don't know if I did that right. I know what will maintain Tank's notoriety: signing with Zuffa. Yeah, I love Alex. His one
Hey, you know
stop
what
fix
though?
all signed to Zuffa.
You know what though? I'll agree with him on that point
Yeah, you're right.
alone. That Dana will make all this shit go away because he's done
Hey,
it
when
before.
I laugh, bro, when he says this stuff and I laugh, most of the time it's because, damn, he's actually got a good point. Like, I know he's doing his shtick, right?
Like it'll
But,
never happen,
yeah,
but
it'll
we
never
know for
happen.
sure
But,
if he went there, Dana would be like, "What? That never
yeah.
happened.
Oh, it would be
He's the
huge.
greatest of all
Uh,
time."
yeah, good luck with that, Alex. They still haven't gotten Shakur a fight. Imagine what Tank will do to them. Yeah, that's a fair point. Joseph, you're in a shock concern. Wait, you're in for a shock concerning Shakur's next fight. I'm not going to be shocked at all when they announce right fight. Yo, Max is nasty with it.
Bro, because what
Listen,
fight
real
are they
quick
gonna
though,
get for him?
real quick, because I have to cover Raw and I have to come back and set up a new show. But I do want to get real quick your take. So, fuck, where is it? Oh my God, did I close it? Oh no, here it is. Okay, so I do want to get your take real quick. These were the scorecards um, for Rolly and Teo,
Oh my
and you could
god.
see that Glenn Feldman scored the first 5 rounds for Rolly Romero, which I very surprised, and he gave 6 through 10 all to Teo. Matt, I want to ask you, for those of us that have been in this game for a while, we call it what's it called when a judge basically makes up for the rounds that he gives? Loads when judges
Mm,
load, right?
yeah.
When they load up on scorecards, right? So then this is what fans think happened, right here with Glenn
Hmm.
Feldman. I just gave Rolly the first 5 rounds. Now I have to look for rounds to give Tio so that my scorecard doesn't seem crazy, right? Um, I want to ask you, first of all, is that something that concerns you? Do you actually believe that referees go in there with loaded cards? Like they're going to give certain amount of to a certain guy, and then once they've realized, oh shit, I've given so many rounds to somebody, I got to start going the other way with it. Um, do you think that happens? And what do you think about the scorecards in general? I mean,
I
I know you
think
said atrocious, but specifically, which card do you think is atrocious?
I think Glenn Feldman fucking filled out his scorecard before he sat down for sure.
Oof. Oof.
Um,
Say it.
because like I said, bro, I scored at 10-2, and even on a third watch, it's like 9-3 at the worst, right? So it's like to give Rolly 5 of the first 6 is insane to me, right? Because he was not winning that fight at all. It was a very clear level of skill being dictated there between the two guys. And this hasn't really happened a bunch in boxing recently, but the times it's happening now, it's been involved with the PBC. So
Mm.
I don't, it's like I don't know. It's like it's been better, but this is why I've been one of those guys like even if it's not like video, you know what I mean? We need like an audio press conference or a press call with the judges and officials explaining their fucking scorecards and why they scored it this way because
Mm.
this is atrocious, bro. This is
Yeah.
bad. This is like really, really bad.
Yeah, I agree. This was crazy in a lot of different ways. I do want to look at this with you though, and kind of paint a narrative real quick, okay? So first of all, we have a scorecard in which the first 2 rounds were like they the first two judges um they scored the first 2 rounds the same, right?
Mm.
Could we suggest that rounds 1 and 2 were swing rounds?
Mm, I don't think so. Maybe
One
if
of
you
them
want
though.
it for sure round two if you really wanted to, because I thought Rolly started out round one really strong every time I watched it. But round two you could maybe swing that one.
So, and that's funny that you said that because I felt the same way. And yet, what I was hearing from a lot of other people, and including Mannix, is that the round one was the true swing round, and that round
Mm.
two was much more definitive. And I felt the other way with it, right? So then, if we can go there and say that, and I know you're not agreeing with this, but the idea that there are other people that could have scored it for him, and that they were close enough that you can't say Teo went out and won those rounds, just like you can't say Rolly went out and won those rounds. Now we have two swing rounds that could be given to Rolly back to back.
Mm.
Okay, so then you got the fifth round, which was his big round, right, where he
Yes.
shifted the momentum. And I believe the sixth round was a swing round,
Mm.
despite the fact that more of them scored it for Teo, right? So Teo got the sixth round on
I
Feldman's
gotta give you
scorecard.
pushback on that one because I really
Yeah,
thought
no,
Teo
I agree.
reestablished himself firmly in that round and took it
I
over by
agree.
the halfway point of it.
No. I agree. The point I'm trying to make is that when I first saw that round, I
Hmm.
thought that that was a swing round. I thought it could have gone either way. I did think that Teo did an excellent job of coming back from that round, right? Because the fifth round was where he got hurt. Um, so what I'm saying is like in that moment, I'm looking at something that I'm not realizing is shifting my uh, ability to judge the fight. I'm
Hmm.
still giving him credit for the last round
Hmm.
and asserting the idea that Teo needs to take the momentum. He doesn't. He just needs to win the round.
Yes.
Um, so then he hurts him again. What round was that? 10? When did he hurt
Mm,
him
I wouldn't
again?
know because that was the you talking about the Superman punch moment thing where he gets him
Yeah,
off balance.
yeah.
He wasn't really hurt because he
I
missed
agree. He wasn't
Teo.
really hurt, but that's either way. He landed something that could have won him the round. What round
Hmm.
was that?
That would have been 10 or 11, like you said.
Okay, so then we give him two swing rounds at the beginning, right?
Hmm.
The sixth,
You've given him 5 option rounds.
exactly. So then, or you've given him two rounds that you think he won definitively, right? It was like the fifth and the 11th or whatever, and then you're giving him 2 to 3 swing rounds. Now, again, I'm not saying that those mean that he could have won the fight or it could have been a draw. What I am saying is there's a judge in
Hmm.
those in those three ring sides that could have saw a fight more resembling uh, a back and forth thing, right? Because again, we don't judge it on the total, right? It's like, oh, if I look at that fight and I say, who had the bigger moments, I could give it to Rolly. But he
Hmm.
didn't win that fight round by round by round the way you're supposed to score. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if somebody beats your ass real bad in rounds 1 and 2, you don't get a knockdown, but then in rounds 3 and 4, you barely win a swing round. That's still a draw, right? Two guys gave it to two, or you gave them 2 rounds each. It doesn't matter that one guy went out there and took a round and the other guy went out and eked a round. Those are worth the same thing without a knockdown. So I'll ask you again. Now that we've seen and established that you could have a certain amount of swing rounds to a certain amount of definitive rounds for Rolly, do you think that, or what do you think a good scorecard would be?
I
Range
think
it
like
for me if
the
you want.
friendliest scorecard you could give is 8-4. Like me and you just found the 2 rounds he won. You found one maybe, and then you found one debatable round. So he still
No,
loses
two
nine
sweep
three eight
rounds. Those
four.
are debates. You can't argue that he deserves to win those
Right.
rounds.
But I'm
All you
saying
can
like because
argue is that
that's what I'm
the
saying like
potential for a mistake is there, or
the
potential to
most
give him one.
acceptable one is like a 8-4 for sure. Not as close, not as close as 7-5 at all. 8-4 9-3. But to me it was 10-2.
See, look at Max. 2 is the only sweep round in the fight. 1 and 5 are clear Rolly
Yeah.
rounds. 5, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. 1, I don't see it that way. Now, I gave it to Teo, and I gave
Mm.
the other one to Rolly.
You
You see what
gave
I'm
round
saying?
one
So
to Tio?
no. Yes. I gave.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. I gave round 1 to Tio, and I gave round 2 to Rolly. And so again,
Wow.
it's this thing where, like, you've watched this fight multiple times, right? So of the two of us, I would 100% bow to your expertise in the match, only because you've seen it more times, right?
Mm.
Because what I've seen may be under the lens of a viewed bias, right? I might be seeing something. By the way, I want to be right all the time, right? Isn't that what
Yeah.
everybody keeps DMing me? Okay, so then wouldn't I wanted a majority decision, right? So my brain is going to try to justify why that looked like a majority decision, despite the fact that I saw Teo winning the fight and being ahead in the scorecards by the time they got to the championship rounds. I didn't even think
Mm.
Rolly could win that fight on my scorecard or even
Yeah.
maybe draw, but he couldn't win that fight on my scorecard without knockdowns, right?
What
So
do you think is the most acceptable score they could have gave?
I thought 9-3 was what it was going to be. I thought 8-4 was fair,
Mm.
right? But this is the way my brain works is I say 8-4, but then I look and I say that 7-5. I'm like, no, dude, that was not a one round definitive fight. And yet I'm here saying I was willing to give 4 rounds, understanding there are a couple swing rounds in there potentially. So it's like back and forth. All I know is
Mhm.
Teo should have won that fight and the right guy won it.
Yeah.
But Matt, with the outrage that is going on, with everybody saying, "Oh, judging needs to be fixed," because
Mhm.
both camps are right. This isn't like one side saying, "Oh, the judges got it right," and the other side is saying, "Oh, I got fucked." This is a fight where both sides are saying
Bro,
the
if
judges
Tio gets
are
knocked down,
a
he loses that
problem.
fight, bro.
Yes, exactly. And did you feel like that was the kind of fight we were
No.
watching heading into the 12th? Nor did I. Nor did I.
Mm-mm.
I would have
That's
assumed he
the
would have had
but
at
that's
least
the
knocked him
scary
out
part you're
twice,
bringing
at
up,
least.
bro. If he gets knocked down in the 5th round, that's a 10-8 for Rolly, and he probably
And he
wins on 2
And he
cards.
wins. I know. And that's what I'm saying. Is like, so we barely missed a debacle. The right man won, I believe. And I believe the majority of boxing believes the right man won. What I don't know is if the narrative coming out of this does more damage than it does harm. Because again, remember when fucking what's his name on ESPN Friday Night Fights would just go off every fucking week
Teddy
on a
Atlas?
judge, right? Teddy Atlas, exactly. He would do it, and at times it was like, yes,
Oh,
we're rooting
do
him
you
on,
remember
but
when
then
he
he would
walked
just
up on
do
the
it.
judge like, "What the fuck? Like, you need to tell me
Yes,
why you scored it like this."
bro.
Bro, but that's
And
what I'm
you know,
saying. Like, we need a press conference. Like, they don't even got to be on camera. It could be a fucking phone call, like Tony Khan
you think
does. Like,
so?
yes, this is why I scored it this way,
Yeah, yeah.
or
That was
just
gonna
like
be
a
the next
written
question I was
report.
gonna ask
Like,
you.
this is this is
No,
this
no,
is
that's the
this.
next question I was asking you. Yeah, see, I like that. I like the written report. Look, when a cop goes to a domestic violence situation, or a cop pulls up on a accident, right? They get the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they write the tickets they got to write. But at the end of the day, they have notes. And when they get back to the station, they got to put up a report together, right? They got to put up an
Yeah.
incident report or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That should be, to a degree, how judges
But
work. Like, I'm not
here's
saying
the
you have
thing,
to
though,
have these
Mario.
guys in front of the whole world saying, how did you score round one for him? You show me right now. I'm not saying that. It shouldn't
Here's
be
the
like
thing, though,
that.
Mario. Similar to our legal policies and laws that get thrown around nationally, it's all going to go by state to state. And what commission is going to start doing this?
None of them.
Tell me the
And
commission
also,
that's going to start making judges speak for themselves.
none of them. No, none of them.
And that's the damn shame because it won't get fixed.
Yeah, no. I agree. I absolutely agree. And so, like, part of this also is that everybody wants to like just throw out random shit, but nobody actually has any real ideas. So then it's like, does this do more harm than it does good? Because the ideas happening right now are causing casual fans that aren't you and I and don't listen to this show enough or at all to know what's actually going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what you're having is a bunch of casual fans and a bunch of people that could be boxing fans reading articles that are essentially shitting on the judges, saying that this is an emergency. Like those were words that were being used in the
Bro,
TO
you
by the
know what
TO
makes
Fume
it
account.
worse?
We are in emergency.
You know what makes it worse? The casual argument that's always, well, look at Tio and look at Rolly. Look at Tio. Look at how did he lose? How did he lose? Look at Tio. That's always the stupid argument that comes up too that makes it worse. Because then Rolly started doing it.
What about RoboCop? He was awesome. Yeah,
Nobody,
RoboCop was fucking sick as
nobody
hell.
care about that shit.
But
Mario, you're missing Raw, dude.
yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you. But at the end of the day, I appreciate you tapped in. That was our final topic. Got to get to Raw. I'll be back by about 8 o'clock. So we're gonna do wrestling. We're gonna do the Raw recap, all that stuff. Matt, I appreciate you tapped in, champ.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I'll hit you up.
Peace.
Peace. So for everybody else, I appreciate y'all tapped in. We will be back in about an hour, about an hour's time. No, actually about 2 hours time. So we'll be back. We'll be on Twitch and YouTube only. So if you're not subscribed on any of those, please go to YouTube. Please go to Twitch. We're gonna do something fun this week. I don't know if we're gonna do it today, but we're gonna do Undisputed, and I am going to basically take a poll, and I want to ask everybody like, who's the guy that had the best chin? Who's the guy that had the best jab? Who had the best footwork? Who had the best defense? Who had the best ring attire? Who had the best walkouts? We're going to go through them all. And I'm going to build a fighter with all those dimensions. It's going to look crazy because he's going to have Riddick Bowe's, I mean, not Riddick Bowe. Fuck, what's his name? That fought Evander. He's going to have his jab and like fucking Manzone's fucking chin. This shouldn't be like this random like assortment of races that make up a fighter. I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun. Shout out to Chris Taco Badia getting the submission at the buzzer. Yeah, we'll talk about that too as well. Because we'll probably just talk about everything else. But anyway, make sure you're tapped in. Raw fightsatw.com, and I will be covering AEW this weekend for All In. We'll be back in about 2 hours. So hit the sub, hit the follow. Until later tonight.